Have you ever wondered why we put so much value on a piece of paper or a shiny piece of metal? It's a question that takes us on a journey back to the very beginnings of civilization and the dawn of currency. In the early days, before the concept of money even existed, people traded goods and services directly. This was known as the barter system. Imagine you're a farmer with a surplus of grain and you need a new pair of shoes. You'd have to find a shoemaker who not only needed grain but also had a pair of shoes to spare. As you can imagine, such perfect matches were rare, making trade a rather cumbersome affair. As societies grew more complex, so did their needs. The barter system was gradually replaced by a more efficient method of exchange: currency. The earliest forms of currency weren't gold coins or silver pieces, but livestock, cows, sheep, camels, you name it. In fact, the word capital comes from the Latin word caput, meaning head, as in a head of cattle. However, cattle aren't exactly easy to carry around in your pocket, so different societies began to use other commodities as a medium of exchange. In ancient China, miniature tools and weapons made of bronze were used. In India, seeds of certain plants, like the cowrie, were used. The ancient Romans were the first to use metal coins on a large scale. These coins, made of gold, silver, and bronze, were standardized in size and weight and stamped with the image of the emperor. Currency in this way evolved from a simple barter system to an intricate system of coins. It became a symbol of value, a measure of wealth, and a medium of exchange. But this was only the beginning. The journey of money from cattle to coins had just begun. So from cattle to coins, the journey had just begun for money. From lugging around heavy coins, how did we shift to carrying lightweight paper? Well, let's take a journey back in time to the Tang dynasty around the 7th century. China, a country known for its inventions, brought forth yet another innovation that would revolutionize the world: paper money. The Chinese, being quite the innovators, recognized the inconvenience of carting around hefty bags of coins. So they started using paper notes as a kind of receipt, a promise that the holder could redeem them for a specific amount of metal currency. Known as jiaozi, these were the first known banknotes, and they were a game changer. However, the concept of paper money wasn't immediately embraced globally. It was a radical idea, and like all radical ideas, it took some time to catch on. After all, trusting a piece of paper to hold value, that was a big leap of faith. Around the 13th century, the concept of paper money began to trickle into the Middle East through the Silk Road, the famous trade route connecting East and West. It was the Mongol Empire, under the rule of Kublai Khan, that started issuing paper currency known as Chao. This was the first time paper money was used by an empire that spanned a large part of the world. This idea slowly spread to Europe, but it wasn't until the 17th century that paper money began to gain popularity there. The Europeans, initially skeptical, eventually saw the benefits of this lightweight, convenient form of currency. Fast forward to the 20th century, paper money had become a universally accepted medium of exchange. Nations around the world began printing their own banknotes, each with unique designs and security features. The convenience of paper money revolutionized commerce, but it also brought new challenges. With great convenience came great responsibility. The birth of paper money brought about issues like inflation, counterfeiting, and the need for a centralized banking system to regulate it all. But that's a story for another time. So who came up with the idea of storing all this money in one place? It's an intriguing question, isn't it? Well, the answer takes us back to medieval Italy, where the concept of banking first took root. It was a time when the economy was booming, trade was flourishing, and there was a need for a safer and more efficient way to handle money. The solution? Banks. Now, these weren't banks as we know them today. They started as merchant guilds where traders would deposit their money for safekeeping. These guilds, seeing an opportunity, began lending this money out to others, charging interest in the process. This was the birth of banking, the institution that would revolutionize our financial world. But the evolution didn't stop there. As trade expanded, so did banking. Banks began issuing promissory notes, a precursor to paper money, which were guarantees that the bank would pay the bearer a certain amount on demand. This made trade even more efficient, as people no longer had to lug around heavy coins. Then came the concept of central banks in the 17th century. The Bank of England, established in 1694, was one of the first. Its role: to control the country's money supply and maintain financial stability. Central banks were game changers. They could influence the economy by adjusting interest rates and controlling the flow of money. Fast forward to today, and banks have evolved into complex institutions offering a wide range of services. They're integral to our daily lives, helping us save, invest, borrow, and more. They're also key players in the global economy, facilitating international trade and finance. But let's not forget, banks didn't just spring up overnight. They're the result of centuries of economic growth and innovation, shaped by the needs and demands of society. They've weathered economic storms, adapted to changing times, and have been pivotal in shaping our financial world. Banks played a pivotal role in shaping our financial world, but the story of money doesn't stop here. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the fascinating journey of money. Are we saying goodbye to paper and coins for good? As we dive into the latter part of the 20th century and early 21st century, we see a seismic shift in the way money functions. The advent of the internet and mobile technology has transformed the face of banking as we know it. Let's journey back to the late 20th century, a time when the digital revolution was just a twinkle in the eye of technology. It was during this period that electronic banking began to make waves. The concept of transferring funds, making payments, and conducting financial transactions all at the click of a button was nothing short of revolutionary. Fast forward to the early 21st century, and we see the birth of digital transactions. Gone were the days of lengthy queues at the bank. Instead, a new era was ushered in, an era where money could be sent halfway across the world with just a few taps on a screen. This was the dawn of digital banking and transactions, a transformation that has forever changed the way we handle our finances. But it wasn't just about convenience. The impact of the internet and mobile technology on banking was far-reaching. It opened up a world of possibilities for financial inclusion, giving individuals who were previously excluded from the traditional banking system a chance to participate in the global economy. Digital banking also brought with it a new level of transparency and accountability. With every transaction recorded and easily accessible, it became harder for corruption and fraud to go unnoticed. And let's not forget cryptocurrencies. These digital currencies, like Bitcoin, introduced a whole new way of thinking about money, challenging traditional notions of currency and value. So, as we stand on the cusp of this digital revolution, we can't help but wonder, are paper and coins becoming relics of the past, perhaps? But one thing is for certain, the digital revolution is here to stay, and it's reshaping the world of finance as we know it. The age of digital money has arrived, but what does the future hold? Let's continue our journey into the next scene to find out. What could possibly replace the convenience of digital money? You might wonder. Well, let's take a glimpse at the possible future of our financial world. As we stride forward into the digital age, we are beginning to see the emergence of cryptocurrencies. Invented by an unknown person or group of people using the name Satoshi Nakamoto. The first and most well-known of these, Bitcoin, is a decentralized digital currency without a central bank or single administrator. Bitcoin transactions are verified by network nodes through cryptography and recorded in a public distributed ledger called a blockchain. This new form of money, decentralized and digital, is creating a buzz worldwide. It's not tied to any government or country, making it truly global. It's also limited in quantity, which could potentially make it a hedge against inflation. And let's not forget the convenience it provides. No more waiting for banks to open, no more hefty transaction fees. Sounds like a dream, doesn't it? But remember, with great freedom comes great responsibility. However, cryptocurrencies also present significant challenges. Their value can be extremely volatile, and their anonymity can make them a tool for illicit activities. Moreover, not everyone has access to the technology needed to use digital currencies. This digital divide could leave some people behind in a cashless society. But the world is not one to shy away from challenges. We're already seeing governments and institutions exploring the potential of digital currencies and blockchain technology. Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, are being considered, which could combine the convenience of digital money with the stability of a government-backed currency. The history of money is a story of constant change and adaptation. From commodities to coins, paper to digital, and now potentially to cryptocurrencies, each stage represents an evolution in our understanding of what money is and how it can serve us. As we look to the future, it's clear that we're on the brink of another transformation. Who knows what the future might bring? But whatever it is, we'll adapt as we always have.